So the South Africa A squad was announced, and of course, we're going to speak about it today. But we're going to start off the show with two special guests, two guys that have been selected in the squad as well. So we're going to be chatting to them and getting their perspectives. But generally, I would like to first start off by catching up with them. So just give me my time to catch up with them. I haven't chatted to them in ages, so it'll be a good conversation. So I'm looking forward to it. But that's what we're going to do on the show. We're going to be having Tristan Stubbs and Wihan Lubbe on the show today with us. They're going to be sharing their comments on the season. They're going to be talking a little bit about SA tour that's around the corner and various other topics. So just follow us, guys. Get your questions in later on in the show. First, allow us to maybe just converse first, the three of us, and then you can get involved in the live chat. But before we get started, before I bring them on the show, don't forget to follow a few important instructions. See that button is red at the bottom. Please click it. That's the subscribe button. Click it and click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Don't forget to smash that like button. It's very important that you do so. That's how we get into recommended feeds, etc. So please smash that like button. Comment in the comment section as well as in the live chat. Get involved with the super chat. You know what you need to do that too. But we also have an amazing opportunity for you guys to support us. As you know, this company is 100% bootstrapped. Just running it off what we were earning from YouTube, etc. So you guys can support us by becoming a patron. So get involved. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. You have different tiers. You can decide if you want to buy me a coffee or you want to buy me a lollipop or if you want to buy me something more expensive. That's also up to you. But it's all got to do with the tiers that you choose. So go ahead and click on the link on the screen as well as in the description for that too. And also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid. These are my co-hosts, Wihan and Tristan. Today, we're going to be talking about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, it's going to be very warrior-specific, probably, and we're going to talk about let's start off the show just by catching up. But first and foremost, how are you guys doing? It's good to see you again after a long time.
You can start, Stella.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. It's nice to be back here. Yeah, good.
Good to see you. Awesome, man. So, as you know, there's a lot to chat about. It's the end of the domestic season now. Going into a SAA tour the team was just announced today, of course. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I first want to know about the season, your experience this season, of course. What has it been like? I mean, Tristan, this was almost, you could say, I wouldn't say a breakthrough season because we knew about you for quite some time, some of us, majority of us. But I mean, for the general public in South Africa, a lot of them took to your performances this season and saw the way you performed and have really been calling your name on a lot of the platforms over here. Both of you. I needed to get you both on the show because that was, as you can see already, there was this talk in the live chat before they even knew you coming on the show. So but I had to bring you guys on. Tristan, let's start with you. Obviously, this is almost like you could say your first full season when you played almost every format, of course, and you had different experiences in different formats, etc. Load shedding. Is it load shedding or is it just a light?
No, I'm assuming it's not. But we're in the same building, so I can't understand how my lights are off and his is.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. Oh, you guys.
He's actually frozen.
He's actually frozen.
So he was
as
obviously on the Wi-Fi.
Oh, flip.
There we go. Welcome back.
Jeez. Okay, so Wihan, let's start with you. Let's get into you. Let's start with you until Tristan comes back. What was the season like for you? And where do you feel that you can improve? At least I can still see your faces, guys. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. I think we have load shedding or something.
Okay, that's excellent. Okay, let's go back to Tristan again. This is all back and forth. I've had it too, guys, so don't worry. We used to this type of things happening on the show like this. So, Tristan, give us your insight on the season so far for you. Where do you think you've done well, and where do you think you can improve? etc.?
Well, obviously, I did quite well in the T20 comp. Thankfully, just hit it nicely during there. I can obviously get a lot better in the red ball stuff and the 50 over stuff. I think there's a lot to improve on going forward. So I think I can get a lot better in both those formats and the T20 stuff, which is exciting moving forward. And yeah.
If I focus on the 4-day stuff, because I've been trying to understand it myself, interviewing quite a few people to try and get it as well, because looking for that next generation is important, that we prepare for that. So, and of course, we know players coming out of school, maybe they don't play a lot of red ball cricket. Is that maybe the reason why you feel that you maybe haven't hidden your straps in the red ball arena? Is it just lack of experience?
I wouldn't say it's coming out of school, because you play club cricket, it's all using a red board and stuff. And in school, we played a lot of time cricket. But it's the first class cricket, it's 4-day cricket, it's a lot. The intensity is higher, but the amount of bad balls you get just minimize each level you go up. So it's also mental. The 4-day stuff's more mental with your mind. Like batting for long periods of time. So that I think also just comes. You just need to bat. Yeah.
I mean, Wihan, can you weigh in on this? Because I mean, you've been playing all 3 formats for a very long time now. So from your perspective, that the red ball cricket, what makes it so much harder? Because it gives a youngster a lot of youngsters out there. I mean, we saw in the under-19 World Cup, etc. We've seen a lot of youngsters coming through the system that maybe just don't understand it. Can you maybe give some tips or insight into the 4-day arena?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It is definitely a step up in intensity from playing 2-day games or more, what do you call it, not limited overs cricket, more longer format type cricket when you're younger. So it's definitely a different ball game, because I think, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. You don't get any bad balls. All of a sudden, the pressures are different. So it does take a few games to get used to it and sort of figure out exactly how you're going to go about it, how you have to sort of structure your own innings and find a way of scoring your runs. And I think that's why you see sort of guys going through seasons where they do really well, and then you see guys going through seasons where they struggle a bit more. Is because it's such a mental game. I mean, yeah, I don't want to use guys as an example, but you as a cricket lover will know that you get guys who knock the lights out one season, especially in 4-day cricket, and then next you almost see that they're struggling a bit. And I feel like teams make plans and figure out where to bowl and where not to bowl to you. So all of a sudden you're not maybe scoring as fluently as you did the year before. All of a sudden, like I said, there's a different pressure. You get stuck for a few balls and you don't necessarily know how to handle it until you're in that position. So, I mean, all of these things are learnings that you get from playing the game and playing 4-day cricket. Yes, you can train and get your game plans in order as much as possible, but there are only so many situations you can simulate in a net. And then it comes down to that in-match sort of feel and practice.
Because I've been trying to figure it out over the last couple of years now that we're doing this. I've been trying to figure out how South Africa or how players can improve that transition into Test cricket. Now, you mentioned some players will do one season, the next season they'll struggle in 4-day arena. There's good examples in the first team, in the first 11 for the Proteas right now in domestic cricket. Someone like KP that would happen to him sometimes. You'd score 900 run season, and then maybe you'll be 400s in the next season, and then you'll maybe do 2 seasons on the trot where he's doing really well, and then you'll dip again the following season. We saw someone like Reinhard van Tonder as well as another example, who started off hit the ground running in the 4-day arena, and now he's having a difficult season. So there is dips, because once players work out, and I understand that. But like when we're watching KP and you're watching Sadal Irvi and the new guys that are, and Ryan Rickle, for example, the new guys that are coming into the test arena, they seem to have settled a lot quicker than maybe we would have expected for some. What do you think from chatting to these guys, if you've had the opportunity to do so? What have you guys asked them about that transition? Have you at least asked them about that transition and what will make that a little easier, or what the difference is? You can start with Tristan and go to Wihan.
Tristan, you can start, so that's fine.
I think Wihan can answer this better than me.
Okay.
So, no, I've definitely had conversations with them, but I probably wouldn't even have needed to if you look at it. All the names of guys you've mentioned have had 2-3 seasons, maybe Sorrel, KP have had more, where they've sort of had time to go through those dips at franchise cricket. They know how to react when it goes well, but also when it doesn't go well, how to react, if that makes sense. Because I think, you mentioned Reinhardt, for example, now, and there was a lot of hype around him early, and as there should be. He had a couple of really good seasons. But then from personal experience, there's an expectation that comes with it. And that expectation, again, forms a different kind of pressure. And maybe these guys that you're mentioning now, like I said, they've had to deal with these pressures. They've found ways to sort of limit, I want to say, external exposure, and maybe mentally they just know how to ride the wave at the time of getting their chances. I mean, Ryan's young, but he's played consistently for the Lions for the last 4 seasons, and that goes a long way. I mean, Reinhardt, I've got no doubt, is going to come out of, I don't want to say maybe an average season by his standards, but still not a terrible season. But he's going to come out the other side a much better player for it, because he'll go back. He's a hardworking kid. He's going to go back and work hard this winter, and he'll probably come back with a bang next year. So I think that's the main thing.
Little bit rather zoned in on you, Wihan, because when I walked into the industry, I don't know if you remember, but when I walked into the industry, it was my first test actually at the Wanderers that I actually fully covered myself, and I was asking who's the next, in line here, who do I need to speak to? And everybody that I spoke to was like, Wihan's downstairs, go speak to Wihan, he's a perfect person. And you had that expectation around you when you were at the Lions. And then you decided to switch. You decided to move and make a big move. And for you, it's been an excellent move based on, you can only take it on based on the season and how you've done. But you made that move early on. Probably was a very difficult decision to make, to leave a franchise like the Lions and going to find game time. So maybe you can give us actually personal experience on how you handle that expectation and have gone on to have such a successful career domestically for yourself.
Yeah, I think so. Strangely enough, Riza and I were having a conversation around this specific topic earlier tonight. It definitely was. I mean, leaving the Lions for me was leaving friendships of 5 to 8 years. Half the team came through with me at Northwest, or I came through with them rather. So it was a very difficult decision to make at the time. But yeah, it comes down to a cricketing decision, and no matter how difficult it was, it ended up paying dividends. I mean, it definitely wasn't an easy move to make, but the experiences that I've gone through, and I would say some of the extra help that I've received from the coaching staff and the players around in the Warriors team, it's been invaluable. So I mean, I think you said it now. It's been probably one of my more consistent seasons, and you never know how it would have turned out if I had stayed. But I do know that it was, if you had given me this season 2 seasons ago, saying that if you leave you'll get to this point, I probably would have taken it, because there was unfortunately still a bit of uncertainty around at that stage at the Lions. I mean, half of those guys are now consistent faces in the Proteas team, and as they should be, which made it difficult to get into that team consistently. And yeah, I think regarding the expectations, I actually, I think because at the time I hadn't had much, I want to say hype, if I can use that word, around me specifically. You always sort of read about the guys around you, and all of a sudden the the light shines on you, that kind of gets noticed, and it creates a not a not a false expectation, but you start believing that you can play at the highest level. And whenever you don't do well, it's kind of like, okay, well, you've got to do well if you want to play for the Proteas. And it becomes a thing, like you almost put pressure on yourself, so that pressure is as much internal as it is external. And that's just, yeah, that's basically what I went through. I had to find a way of sort of just almost not attaching myself to the performances that I have on the field, um, and almost forgetting about the eventual end goal, but finding a way of having fun and focusing on what's happening sort of now, where I am now, where my feet are planted, and sort of what's coming at me. So, yeah, that's the learning that I took from it, and that's why I feel like it's been a bit more consistent.
You see, guys, now I'm thinking of even changing the topic of this conversation now because this is some amazing insight I'm getting. I don't even want to go to the topic. Tristan, let's go back to you again. I want to ask you about um, specifically your style of cricket, because I would say that you are naturally very attacking player. It's what I've seen from Wihan as well, actually, for quite some time. Naturally attacking players, like strike the ball really well, and that's obviously why people have obviously taken note of you as well. Because yes, you're putting the runs on the board, and yes, you're putting in results. But it's the style of cricket that you play that I think a lot of people enjoy watching. So, how much was that your own doing, and how much was that actually conversations that you've had with players around you or your coach or previous coaches, etc.? Or were you always that type of player?
I think Vian will agree. We're given so much freedom to play at the Warriors. In a 50 over game, it's go score 350. In a T20, it's go make 220. We speak about scoring, if you face 60 balls in a T20 game, you score 100. So we just given so much freedom to go and play attacking cricket, and then you feel it's your responsibility to play that way, and it's thankfully we both naturally play that way. But yeah, it's awesome to play with so much freedom and the ability to go and just if you want to take someone on, take him on, or if you see your moment, take it. And yeah, it's awesome to play. It's mainly down to the freedom we get from the coaches coming up top.
And the switch, because sometimes you it might not be going your way where you're just hitting completely freely. um can we change? Can How did you learn how to like learn how to take things forward, like for example change your around when things are not maybe going for you immediately explosively? What sort of things have you learned to try and take the pressure off yourself if maybe those balls are not coming where you can just smack it out the ground?
As I've played a bit more, I've learned to stay a bit more calm. You wait. Big thing I focused on is you wait for your matchup. So you try and work it at. Obviously, if the bad ball's there, you put it away. But if your matchup comes and you're not, you take him on. Or if you're struggling and then your matchup comes, you take him on. Type vibes. So that is a big thing that we spoke about as a team.
Now, Vian, for you, there's for some fans there might be a little bit of confusion around where they see you playing in the future. Some called you in the past maybe a finisher that can play, because you can bat anywhere in the top six, which is incredible, by the way. But you've kind of changed your role in a way when you move to the Warriors, batting a lot higher up the order. So there's actually a question here from Werner. He says, how have you enjoyed opening the batting in the limited overs competitions this season? Has there been conversations anywhere about the SAA side in your role? Now, let's not answer the last part because I want to get into that when we talk about the SAA. But let's just talk about that change in role for you personally.
Yeah, I've obviously enjoyed it a lot to sort of get a nod up the order. It's definitely been something different. I think in T20 cricket, I probably had the most experience with batting up top, purely because of varsity cups and varsity cricket. But in terms of franchise cricket, especially, I've been, how do I use it? I've almost floated a little bit. I've been used in various roles, which I kind of see as a benefit. It allows you to learn various situations of the game at various stages. Um, you might have to sacrifice a little bit on a career average at the end of it all. So I might not be exactly where I want to be in terms of a long-term average, but I feel like the lessons learned are now paying off. And in terms of top of the order, yeah, sort of the T20s led to an opportunity through a COVID case in our team that had me open the batting in 4-day cricket, which ended up going pretty well. I mean, Robbie will be the first to say we've done a bit of work on my technique. So yeah, technically, I feel like I'm better than I was a couple of years ago. So that probably allowed me to handle that swinging red ball a bit better. And then yeah, I think when it came to 1-day cricket, the thinking was basically more around the first sort of 10, 15 overs when the two balls are swinging. It's probably going to be very similar to a start of a 4-day innings. And once it stops swinging, that's kind of when the fun can start. Which, yeah, it's kind of the way we approached it. It's been fun. It's been a fun challenge to go up top of the order, and it's been a lot of great learnings. Robbie and Bakes, to be fair, have been very good in conversations around structuring innings and sort of how to approach certain situations. And yeah, I think Stubbo said it well earlier. We've been granted freedom, and that kind of just allows you to go out and play without, I want to say, a sword hanging over your head if you fail. If you play the way sort of they know how you can play, whether you score 5 or 50, they clap you off and they give you a nod. And I mean, at the end of the day, cricket's a game where you probably fail more than you succeed, as a batter especially. And yeah, the fact that they can acknowledge that you are playing with the right mindset in the right way, that makes it easier in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys in the live chat, I know you're throwing in your questions. I'll get to them after the segment. We're going to now to be talking about the South Africa A side. And I'm going to this first be doing some of the admin stuff, guys, before I involve you. So I'll just bear with my bad reading, etc. But basically, the CSA have announced their squad, obviously, for the Zimbabwe tour. Now, the CSA convener of selectors, Victor Mpinsang, said it's going to be an exciting few weeks in Harare. The national selection panel and I are selected our best and up-and-coming players and balance them with experiences of some of the Proteas to show just how seriously we take this tour. The CSI High Performance Program is an important part of the organization's pipeline, and the game is vital for the program to succeed. And that's why we've been calling for more, guys. We've been calling for more tours, of course, because of that. We are really looking forward to watching these matches and seeing what this team of talented players under the leadership of Heinrich Klaassen will bring to the table. On behalf of the selectors, I would like to wish Heinrich Klaassen and the coach, Malibongwe Maketa, all the best for the tour. Now, these are the two squads that are available. We've had this is the 1-day squad. And I'll put it on the screen for you. Andy Klaassen, Ryan Dickleton, Risa Hendricks, Tony De Zorzi, Tiennis De Bruin, Kaya Zonda. I've put it in, tried to organize it into all-rounders, etc. Brennan Sobrayan, Bjorn Fortuin, who would consider themselves all-rounders, so they will probably DM me now. Bjorn will DM me later to tell me. No, I'm joking. Adile Peklekwai is an all-rounder, Jason Smith, CB Ngwepe. And then we've got Lutusi Pamela, Darren De Pavlon, Lazard Williams, and Gerald Kutsia in the 1-days. Then T20 squad, we've got Henrik Klaassen, Ryan Nicholton, Risa Hendricks, Kaya Zondo. I know Via's looking at me. Where did I place him? and Tristan as well. But I've added you guys both into the all-rounder mix. Lutus Pablo and Pablo and Lazard Williams and Gerald Kutsia all in the seamers category. All-rounders Antile, Jason, Lesiben Wepe again, Tristan Stubbs, Wihan Lubbe, and then Prina Sobrain and Bjorn Fortuyn again as bonus. So it's very similar teams, other than obviously Tristan and Wihan getting added into the T20 squad. What was your guys' lead up into this? Was there conversations that happened before this, or were you just called up and said, guys, you in the squad?
Yeah, we were basically just given a phone call, telling us that we've been selected for the tour, and that we're part of the T20 squad going. So that was pretty much as simple as that.
And wait, flip. Sorry, I muted you. My bad. Just start over. Sorry.
Wihan missed his phone call, I think, 2 or 3 times. So
yeah, I did.
He was a bit later than the rest of us.
Flip.
I found out 2 days later than the rest of them did, but I found out eventually.
At least. Weren't you a little bit worried when you looked around?
Nah, not really. I'll be honest. I didn't even know there was a tour planned until I had the phone call. So I did find out later that Tristan, Lesiba, and Moodles were sort of whispering in corners to try and not let anyone else know, just in case. But yeah, I haven't been great on my phone the last few weeks. So yeah.
So it's natural. And Tristan, for you, were the conversations? Was this the first time that you actually spoke to Victor about selection?
Yeah, first time I think I've ever spoken to him. He called me and just told me the news, and I was super excited. Not much to it, but yeah, I was super happy to get the phone call.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it ended there, because I was hoping that there would be maybe a little bit. Obviously, there's so many players to call, so obviously you can't have an individual conversation with every single person. But I thought that at least maybe the newer guys in the squad, etc., that there would be a longer conversation, maybe reasons why, or reason or roles. Have you spoken to the coach? Get an opportunity to speak to the coach yet? Obviously not.
To be honest, he could have spoken. He could have told me all of the things. I was just so shocked he called me. I can't tell you what he told me, but I knew I was in the team. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just want to give you guys like an indicate, like the rest of you guys. Wihan, do you want to weigh in on there or anything else on the selection?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Okay, cool. So I just want to give you guys an indication of maybe, obviously stats would have been involved as well. And I know Wihan and Tristan are here now, so like it's difficult for me to talk when they write here and say things. I do because I don't want to really put you on the spot, guys, from that perspective. But when it comes to the ODIs, I was surprised that Wihan wasn't in the squad. I'm just going to be honest in front of everybody here. But when you look at the stats, he's second of the log in the One Day Cup. So I've put the stats on the screen for you guys to see. This as you know what the bowling and the batting was like during this tournament. There are quite a few players that maybe were felt that were omitted, but I will do a show tomorrow, guys, on this alone, just on who was omitted, who wasn't, who we think lost out and who didn't. The T20s, here's the stats for the T20s. So it's interesting to see what the stats are and who they selected. Certain players obviously left out, etc., that we can discuss. But I think that's for a show for tomorrow. We can talk about, the headline will be all about who was left out and who we think missed out. But just so you guys have an indication and understanding of who was ranked where. Let's get into the questions, because I think this is what everybody's actually here for, to ask you guys questions, not to hear me ramble. So let's get into the questions. I'm not going to go with any questions that were asked before the show started. I have to just go with when the show started, because some of them have disappeared by now. Okay, so let's start with Tristan. There's one for you here. Tristan, what is the key for your success in CSA T20 Challenge? If we see statistics, you hit the most sixes in the tournament, way more than the second in the list.
I think a big thing was knowing my role, and I felt comfortable doing that. And a big focus on this this comp was giving myself time, playing a few balls, getting myself in, and then feeling comfortable to have a go. And like we said earlier, identifying my matchups and when to go. I think I did that quite well this tournament, which helped me, contribute.
Okay, cool. Vian, someone saying they want to see you in the ODI squad next year. There's a question I think that both of you guys can answer this. Sorry. Why aren't there as many express spaces in SA? Vian, let's start with you, and then we can move to Tristan.
I'll gladly start. Simple answer, because you've got guys like Tristan Stubbs on the other side whacking you all over the show. That's why. It's the simplest way to say it. I don't want to be running in, breaking my back, bowling 140, and then getting it back over my head. I'm all right. I bowl or spin, I can get the same result.
It's as blunt as you can take it, Tristan. Do you have maybe an understanding, maybe from a younger perspective? I mean, at school level, how many quick bowlers did you actually face and see at school level?
Tristan might be better to answer that one.
Yeah, I'm asking Tristan. Sorry, I didn't specify.
Yeah, I faced like Gerald. I faced him growing up during school, and he's pretty quick. But I don't have a reason for that. I don't know the answer to that question. But there is guys who bowl quick at school. Sometimes quicker at school than after school. But I don't have a definite answer for that.
Yeah, because I mean, when I take it from my perspective, the ones that stand out to me are the likes of Lubbe and Tristan, Aishel Kluti, obviously Gerald Kutsia. From the top of my head, that I'm talking about youngsters now coming through. We obviously have some guys from the current under-19 squad also bowling around about 140, but we haven't necessarily, if you look around the country and you look in every single team, it's not necessarily, we're not as blessed as we used to be, I think with those quick bowlers. And obviously that also is a cycle. Dale Steyn and Mona Moko and those guys have retired now and moved on. So it's a cycle. We have to find the next generation of quicks that can bowl 140 plus consistently. The next Andrich Nokia's, Dale Steyn's, etc. So yeah, I don't know what is done at school.
In saying that, Marco Jansen's 21.
Yeah, and Marco's bowling one. Yeah,
he bowls
he's
pretty
part
quick.
of that. Yeah, he bowls pretty quick as well.
And there's someone that bowls pretty similarly to him in Northwest as well.
Tuan. Yeah. So there are quite a few, as they've mentioned now, quite a few that's coming through. Maybe what they are asking for, or what fans are asking for, is for more per team, so that we can get consistency. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're asking for. Vian, this question's for you. I hope you have a nice long answer. In SA's team, in what role are you aspiring yourself to be? Finisher, bowling all-rounder, or anything else? Which format is your favorite, red ball or white ball?
It's a difficult question to answer, because at the moment I'll take whatever they want to give me. To be honest, I think earlier we had a question around the roles. What number I bat, I don't really. I'm never too phased about it, as long as I think I've been working quite a lot on my bowling, and that's for me is important. It's important for me to be able to offer a second skill. I think we've seen the benefit of it in certain teams around the world, and I'm hopeful that I can, in the next sort of couple of months, years, get my bowling to a level that they deem good enough to sort of bowl more than just the odd over, but actually be seen as a second spinner in a side. So that's definitely, regardless of what number I'm batting, definitely the role that I'd be able to, or that I'd like to be able to fill.
Can I ask you about the bowling?
Regarding the favorite format, I probably prefer white ball these days. I still like red ball, but I'm really enjoying the white ball game.
Mm-hmm. Can I maybe add to that question about the bowling side? And obviously, you would have, having Robbie as a coach is makes a massive difference, especially if you're a spinner. So can you maybe give us some insights into what he has sort of taught you that is maybe different to coaches before? Something that's maybe different that maybe shocked you when you heard it for the first time, maybe, or that stood out to you?
So technically, there hasn't been a massive change. Technically, I think I've always since National Academy we've worked on technique quite a bit. So technically, there's not much that we would change. It's more small tweaks that he would make on my technique. But I think the biggest difference comes in when you sit down and have a conversation with coach around approaching spin bowling. I think that's where I had a lot of growing to do, and that's where he's helped me a lot already. I think we've obviously had a year and a half, 2 years together now, and the thinking around spin bowling is where I feel I've grown a lot compared to previous years. I think that's probably the biggest difference. It's just the mental side of it, because it's one thing becoming a good bowler, but having to do that under pressure is a completely different ballgame. So obviously, he's been in situations throughout his career that we can now feed off, and that makes a massive difference.
Yeah. Bibik wants to know, Stubbs, which IPL team would you like to join if you have been given the chance, and why?
Quinny's new team, LSG, Lucknow. I'd love to play with him in Carroll.
No, why? What? We know he's one of your favorite players. Okay, what a player as well. Okay, we got his answer. Vian Dev should be in Proteas ages ago, ahead of some. I mean, I've been saying it for how many years now, Vian? Do you guys have ambition to play Test cricket? Many younger guys these days grow up watching and playing T20 cricket. I'm just scared the purest format of the game will die out.
Yes, simple answer.
Yes.
I would.
Yes.
I think both of us definitely.
Mm-hmm. What was the reaction when you found out that Eddie Moore will make the move to VP Blitz? Okay, guys. Let me not put them on the spot right now, because this news hasn't necessarily come out quite yet, fully. We will be getting Eddie on the show to come chat to us, and he will answer all your questions about it. Do you guys feel comfortable to answer it? No? You want to move on?
I can tell you my reaction. I was just not ecstatic, but yeah, sad to lose a friend, like good friend in the change room. Sad that you won't be seeing him every day at training.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Tristan?
Yeah.
I should make him go first all the time, actually.
No, I was also not really surprised, but like also just sad that Eddie's leaving.
Okay, fully understand. I mean, I'm smiling. I'm happy.
No bias.
So like, no bias at all. No bias at all. It's good to have him there. Like you guys should consider it maybe in the future. So I'm going to be getting Eddie on the show to chat. It's been difficult now over the last. He's gone to England now as well. So there's a lot to chat about that we're going to get him on the show sometime this week. We've already been conversing about it, and you guys can ask him all the questions you want to ask him. Let's move on. Let's get some more in here. So not to see. Okay, yeah. Let's not talk about the team now, guys. We can start talking about who we were upset about missing out and all that tomorrow's show. Let's just keep the questions now for the two guys on the screen. Did you guys have to cancel any plans on the last minute due to the collapse? Clearly, Vino was too busy to buy his phone.
I didn't have to cancel any plans. No, I just had to make a few adjustments to the schedule. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, we were actually told a bit in like quite a while ago, so we planned for this. Yeah.
Only you planned and the rest planned. Oh Lord, Vian, you're funny. Listen, a question to Vian is the Janssen brothers both on the same in terms of approach to bowling and pace? You'll know them well, of course.
Yeah, I think.
So does Tristan though. So yeah, you both can answer
I think
the question.
what makes them so good is the fact that to answer the question simply, yes, I think they're very similar But what makes them so good is the fact that growing up and even now, they feed off each other a lot. So I think that bond, it goes without saying, they're very close. But the fact that they challenge each other, questioning each other quite often, paired with, I want to almost say, being able to chat about different plans. I mean, like I said, they offer exactly the same skill. One maybe swings at a touch more than the other, but I think the end product, they both want to be the same thing. And I think that's a big plus to have for them in their sort of arsenal. So yeah, I'm excited for what lies ahead for those two. Yeah, let's just say that, because of the fact that they can grow quicker than most, because they can feed off each other a lot more than other people have the luxury of doing.
Tristan, do you see some like similarities, of course?
Yeah, I don't know Duan too well, but Marku, he's stubborn. He's stubborn. So it's a good trait to have. He backs himself through and through, and I think you need to do that if you want to play where he is. So I think they'll do very well.
Now, I know Lorenzo, because Lorenzo, you've obviously gotten to know me over this time on this channel, and you obviously testing my knowledge, because this question was asked to me, and before in previous shows, not by him, but I've explained this on many occasions that I mean, at a certain point, and I don't like to say this, but at a certain point, I actually thought that one might have gotten a call up before Marco at a certain point in the career, when I was talking about when they were much younger, playing during the Kaya Majora weeks. But if Dwan didn't pick up that injury that really set him back in that Kaya Majora week, I think that would have made a massive difference in maybe we could have seen both of them really fast forward and see themselves both maybe they can make the autographs. But difficult to fit both of them into a team as I think as together in one team, because they offer something very similar. But at least you guys are testing my knowledge over here, which is good. You're asking people with authority. That's very good. You can't just take my word for it. That's a statement. Khalid, yes, I know I did. Khalid, only on this particular flippant thing, change the bloody thing automatically, and I can't change it back. It changes it with predictive text on YouTube, on StreamYard, and I can't change it while the show's live. So that's the reason why it's like that. Sorry, guys. It's the truth, because we spelled it right everywhere else. Tell us something about your bowling, Tristan.
It's not great. No. Yeah, I bowl when I'm asked to, and if the team needs me to bowl, I'll bowl. Otherwise, I'm happy to have Wihan bowl ahead of me.
But Wihan, let's ask you, because maybe he's a bit humble. Maybe we could ask you, what's your assessment of his bowling, and if it's something that is that the advice you'd give him to pursue it and actually add?
Oh yes, definitely. I definitely think it's something you should pursue. I think if you look at where his bowling was a few months ago and how quickly he got a lot better, yeah, I think it's definitely something he can sort of stick to and work on. Yeah, he might not bowl much now or for the next season or two, but you never know what happens in your future. I mean, he's got the skill with the gloves, he's got the skill with the ball, so I think it offers a lot to any team. So it doesn't hurt having or offering more to the table. So yeah, I think it's exciting.
Wihan and Tristan, any specific plan to play spin if you get a call up for the T20 series in India? Well, the last part doesn't really matter really, but to the question. But yeah, do you have like a certain plan against spin that you have? You know, maybe I can add to that. I've seen certain players obviously have a different approach to others. You know, some might like to sweep, some might like to double step, some might like to stay in the crease and not move much. So like, what sort of approaches do you have against spin?
Try and keep it pretty simple. Watch the ball and then watch the ball out the hand, know it's coming, and have your scoring options to each bowler. If it's like if someone you feel if he comes in your half, you take him down straight, or if a guy often you might know he drags one down to get out the over, set up for that, or but generally it's just keep it pretty simple and yeah, try and rotate strike, minimum dot balls, and then hit the bad ball for four, pretty much.
Yeah, but Vian, does it help that you obviously spin your spin ball yourself to be able to help you read it, or doesn't it that help you at all?
I think it does. Yes, not always, because sometimes you can overthink it a touch. But yeah, it helps to have a rough idea of what I want to almost say you would do in that situation. I won't say it's a massive difference, but yes, I would say yes. Especially if I'm facing, I guess if I'm facing an off spinner, especially it helps because I try and sort of go through what I would do or what I would be thinking, and then yeah, try and match that up with the situation.
But how do you fall upon a game plan? Because, like I said, there's different game plans for everybody. You can see Janneman's faces spin differently to Quinny's faces to Aiden, and like everybody has their own way. So how do you land upon that game plan for a specific form or a specific bowler?
I think that that comes from knowing you're like playing lots of cricket and you're like let's say I couldn't sweep. Now I can't just come decide one day I'm going to sweep. It's you've learned some sort of formula through the years, and then it's backing your strengths in tough situations and knowing what works for you. Where Quinny hits whatever extra, like or so does he, but like someone who doesn't isn't going to try and do that type thing. It's knowing your strengths and then backing that. That's your game plan. Sort of it evolves a bit, but it's come through you've like sort of formulated through the years, and then you're just implementing it now, sort of thing.
Yeah, because Vian, people will say like you need to add certain, like especially when the Proteas, when Boucher took over, there was a lot of talk about him speaking about positive cricket against spin, attacking the spinners, playing sweep shots, etc., etc. Is that something you can learn later on in your career if you maybe haven't had that option in your arsenal? What do you think?
Definitely, I definitely think so. I mean, 2 years ago, John Smuts didn't reverse sweep. Now, if an off spinner comes on, he's probably reversing him sooner rather than later, and that's a skill he taught himself. He's naturally, a lot of players are naturally good enough to learn a skill. It's just putting in a few hours to nail it down. So yes, I definitely think that even at a later stage in your career, you can change it up a bit and throw a few spanners in the works.
Wihan and Stubbs, how quick is the Pavlom? Is he the quickest domestically?
I think we faced a spell from De Pavlon in the quarterfinal of the T20, and he bowled me I think 4 balls in a row, and that was the quickest I'd faced at the possibly still, but that was really quick. And then there's a few, but he's up there. Yeah.
Oh, definitely one of the quickest. I mean, depends, I guess, on what day you find a guy, but geez, yeah, he definitely can crank it up. But saying that, this season we faced a spell from Gerald that was pretty quick in the T20s. Couple of guys that can definitely crank it up. I mean, both the Janssens, once you get them angry enough, they can come in quite hard. So yeah, there's definitely a few guys around the box.
Yes, I need to get them on again as a pair. Like it's difficult to their schedules are so like different now. It used to be easier before. What I want to ask you is, this is my question. This is my stupidity of not knowing, because obviously I'm also learning about the game consistently. But I've like had an assumption of who's the fastest. Like I've looked at Gerald and I've looked at Leifer and looking at them, you can see by the eye how quick they are, and also by how the batter's playing them. But I've heard things like, for example, certain players call Magala a quick bowler, for example, because they say that he hits the deck really hard and he comes in, but he may not hit 150s, but sometimes it feels that way. Can you maybe explain that to me on what do they mean by that? Is it because of how quickly the bat comes off the surface onto your bat, or what is it that some bowlers that maybe don't need 140 can still seem quick to you?
So I think perfect example would be watch how Gerald runs into the crease and watch how Magala runs in. Gerald starts at the top of his run up and sprints all the way in, where Magala jogs in, and then just whips this thing. And they probably both come at similar speed, but Magala's ball hits your bat and it just feels so much quicker. I think because it's like a slingshot sort of thing, where Gerald, you set up, it's coming quick type line. Yeah.
Is it just a mental thing, Wihan?
No, I don't think it's a mental thing. I think he hits it. It's definitely one of the things, but I think some bowlers are just, I don't know what to call it. Like certain batters pick up certain actions a little bit easier than others. Maybe it could be that. For me, I think that's that. Certain bowlers' actions, I might pick it up a split second later. And then, generally they call it just energy on the ball, the way it sort of hits the bat. It feels different. But, Magala's definitely one that feels quicker than he looks, if I can say it like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to get into the final ones because, we're getting close to the hour mark. There was one before you answer this one, I saw a funny one from Werner. No, wait. Oh, here we go. What do you guys do to keep yourself busy in the hotel in the lead up to your series if there is a mini quarantine or bio bubble restriction?
Watch Friends.
Wait a minute. When did you find out about Friends? Like what age?
No, I think I've watched and rewatched Friends about genuinely like 5 times. That's
amazing.
Watch it all the time. But I don't know. I've got into playing. It might sound funny, but I've been playing Sudoku quite a bit, and that keeps me entertained for quite some time. That's me.
Yeah, for me, it's a few different things really. Reading a bit, try and keep myself busy with 1 or 2 coffee things. I don't know. Obviously, watch series now and then. Watch a bit of sport that's on, but not really too much. Nothing hectic really. If we're allowed to play golf, we both play golf as much as possible. That's definitely, with the managed environments, that's been a bit of a blessing, allowing us to get out of the hotel to go onto a golf course. That's made a big difference mentally.
Do you guys watch any other sports besides cricket?
Golf, a lot of golf, and golf. Yeah,
I can't watch it. I'm sorry. It's one sport I can't watch. I can maybe go out and hit a couple of balls and go maybe play a course poorly, not well, but I can play it, but I can't. Like I can go and I can find myself going and playing it, but I can't watch it. Like I don't know why, personally. But
golf. I enjoy watching tennis. Those are probably the main 2 ones, and then the odd football game. I don't watch as often anymore because my team's sort of sliding down the scales a bit. So decided to just give them a break. I'll watch them again once I hear they won a trophy or 2.
It's gonna be a torture tonight. I am dreading it. I don't even understand. Last question to the both of you. Lasiba has evolved dramatically in the last year or so. He seems like a guy that works very hard on his game. Would you guys agree?
I would agree with that. He trains hard, and also I think the amount of freedom he's given we given as a team has helped to his success, because he can just go out and naturally hits the ball so cleanly and he just goes and plays. So he does train hard, but the freedom I think also helps him a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think Stubber hits the nail on the head. He's a very good trainer. I think he's a great guy to have in a team environment. I think he's a very smart cricketer as well, even though people might not notice it from watching him on TV. But then, yeah, I think Lubbe is probably one of the reasons why I really dislike stats. Because I think if you look at a cricketer like him, he had so many, especially in that T20 comp, he had so many impactful innings. As it might not be a 60 of 20 balls, but he has an impact, whether it's 20 of 7 or 8 balls coming in and sort of lifting the whole intensity of the game. He's been brilliant for us in that regard in the last couple of seasons. So I think if you look at his 4-day innings, he plays with that same intensity, and that's one of the reasons why I feel like we've probably not just him, but the mindset that he plays with is one that Tristan's been speaking about, and that's suited his game, because there's no, like I said earlier, there's no sword hanging over you. You can play your way, knowing that if you go out in an area that is a strength to you, you're probably going to be all right. So, yeah, I'm actually chuffed that he's been doing well. I think, yeah, he's definitely one to watch.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks a lot for joining me. I know it was a long show for you guys, but thanks a lot for joining me on the last minute, Tristan, as well. Because yeah, and Wihan as well. I asked you guys quite late. So thanks a lot for coming on the show and joining me with this conversation. I would love to have you guys on future shows. You know that I'll be in contact again. To the guys out there, please subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos, and also smash that like button. Do that, please, because that's how we get into recommended feeds. Share this with everybody, because I think the knowledge that we shared today on this podcast, I think it is brilliant for any cricketer around the country. So please share this with as many people as you possibly can, to get this to as many people, of course, into their feeds. Don't forget to also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. And become a Patreon. The link is on the screen as well in the description. Go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all updates. That's where you'll see we just posted a story about Faf hitting 96 in IPL. You can go ahead and read that as well. A little highlights reel as well of his innings is in the article too. So go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all of that. Thanks a lot, Wihan. Thanks a lot, Tristan. And to all the fans that asked questions and joined the show, we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Remember, bring your list of plays that you felt should have been included or shouldn't have been included, etc. We will discuss that in depth on tomorrow's show, the SAA squad. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you very, very soon. Peace.